Live struggle legacy. It's a whole movement.
I got you, big baby. I keep the struggle live struggle, live music. Pay attention to how we do it. And so my dog who never made it out. Live struggle, I got you, homie. We break it out, live struggle, live music. Pay attention to how we do it. And so my dog who never made it out. Live struggle, I got you, homie. The things we do when we down on our luck, like a dolphin, anything to get fucked up. What you think? Now we out here trying to get locked up. Desperation brings desperate measures trying to come up.
Hey everybody, it's your boy MP, Live Struggle Legacy, and welcome to the Live Struggle Legacy Podcast, Season 3. Now real quick, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification button, start a conversation, drop a comment. If you're listening on a streaming platform, please make sure you follow, download, save us, rate us. And if you're looking to promote your business, we're looking for sponsors. So holler at me. Okay, it's gonna be a very special show tonight. I have a very special guest in the house, none other than the traveling painter, right?
Yes.
Autumn Proctor.
Yes.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
So I'm just gonna dive right into it.
Yeah.
So Live Struggle Legacy, we celebrate people and their passions, and we our goal is to inspire people to follow through with their dreams despite adversity. So I don't know how you can relate to that, but tell us about Autumn Proctor. Tell us about your traveling art pod, or whatever you want to, however deep you want to go into it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Traveling Art Parties was established almost 8 years ago now at this point.
Congratulations.
Thanks. I absolutely love it. Prior to that, I did teach at Painting with a Twist. That was in Spring Hill at the time.
Awesome.
Prior to that, though, I pretty much am a self-taught artist. I grew up in a tattoo shop my whole life with my dad.
That's awesome.
So I remember as a kid, I would just color or copy flash off the walls or color the flash because, old school tattoo shops still had flash hanging on the walls. You don't see that much anymore. After that, we did move to Florida. I'm originally from Massachusetts, so we came down to Florida and I tried to dabble in a little bit of art. It kind of went on the back burner for a few years, especially my adolescent years. And then in my 20s, I dove deep again into it, but I also have a prior addiction which kind of hindered me for a few years in between that. So I am a 10-year recovering alcoholic, and I took me the better half of 10 years to learn how to paint, draw, walk, and just be a functioning human being again.
Well, good for you. Congrats.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it did. It was pretty serious. I was hospitalized about a month. I went into liver failure at 24.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. I weighed probably 98 pounds when I got out of the hospital. I had to learn to walk again. That took about 6 months. Learn to drive. I had to relearn pretty much how to write, paint, draw, anything. I had no function of my hands anymore. So it was really a really tough time in my life. I couldn't basically do anything for myself. I had to depend on others for help. So it was rough. And I think the hardest blow was not being able to do art. Because that is like my therapy, and it always has been.
So how old were you when you really got into art?
So I was roughly probably 13, 14 when I was starting to really dabble in it.
Is this when you were copying the flash?
Yeah,
art?
like the flash and things like that. And then I just noticed, I started just having a knack for just sketching, and that's where it started. And my dad always encouraged it. He always encouraged me to do art, have fun with it, enjoy it. And then as I started getting into my later years, I started getting more formally trained in things. I would take art classes wherever I could. Even in school, I would take whatever art classes they offered. We had, I've trained with professional artists, which was awesome. I've had a lot of great mentors in my life, including my dad. And even the Bob Ross certification, that was a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I want to hear all about that.
Oh, we're definitely going to talk about that one. That one's a ton of fun. But for the most part, I'm fairly self-taught. I try to teach myself new techniques as I go and use that, for my classes that I teach now. It's just been a part of my life since as far back as I can remember at this point, so. Yeah.
That's awesome. So the tattoo shop was in Massachusetts.
It is, yes, and
Okay.
it still is.
Oh,
so
okay.
my dad has been in business since '91, and he's
Wow.
still at it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Okay.
he loves
Where
it.
in Massachusetts?
The shop itself is in Salem, New Hampshire, but it sits right on the state line of Mass and New Hampshire.
Okay.
But my dad lives in actual Massachusetts, like right over
Okay.
the state line. I was born in Lawrence, Massachusetts. And then we kind of bounced around between New England for a while, and then I moved to Florida when I was 12.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was definitely an adjustment. We went from like 4 seasons to 2.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh my gosh. It was kind of a shell shock when we got here, so. But I love it. I couldn't picture being anywhere else. I like the warm weather, so I enjoy it here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm thinking about how you started, your whole passion for art, and my art is super limited. I mean, I grew up, like, my mom was super, in my adolescence it was just my mom.
Yeah.
And in my like kind of more formative years, but we would always have like art stuff on hand.
Yeah.
My sister could draw unbelievably. She could paint
That's awesome.
unbelievably. I wasn't so great, but what I did was trace. So I'm thinking about you.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because honestly, it still gives you that kind of muscle memory
Yeah.
that you
yeah.
can, and it's still, you're still doing something. It's the act of actually doing the art.
Yeah, and I remember my mom like getting all the stencils, but those were just boring to me. I was obsessed with lowriders as a kid. I mean, absolutely obsessed. So like in this in the early '90s, mid '90s, there was like this magazine called Mini Trucking, and they were like these lowrider trucks that had hydraulics, like the
they
back,
bounce, yeah.
they were bouncing, and then like they had the
Yes.
back. You know how they have the back cap, the cover over the back,
Yep.
the camper cover.
Yep.
They would like lift up and spin and all this, and so that's what I would trace. I would trace these lowrider trucks.
That's pretty
and
cool.
I would trace. I was obsessed with Impalas, like mainly.
Oh
like
my gosh, yeah.
63 and 64
Yes.
Impalas. So I had these traced drawings like all over my walls with the posters, that would get from the lowrider magazines.
That's fantastic.
So that's
though.
my limited. It didn't get much further than 12 years old, but
It's still art, man. It's
yeah,
still art.
absolutely.
Still the act of doing it. So
So you said that you kind of had a little adversity, and that kind of took you away from your craft, took you away from.
it did,
Yeah.
and it did for a long time, and it was like learning, literally and figuratively, learning to like walk again, where I would put pencil to paper and I'm like, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's just not doing it on the paper, because like I had no functioning to be doing it, and it was so frustrating that I gave up on it altogether for months. I just didn't look at a canvas, I didn't look at a sketch pad, I didn't look at anything. It was a very depressing time for me, because that was my outlet. So when I was finally confident enough to just be like, you know what, it's gonna look like crap, it's gonna look like crap, I need to just do it and just go with it. And I progressively got better with therapy. I progressively got better with, physical therapy, where I was able to learn how to hold a pen properly again, hold a pencil again properly. And then it started just branching into doing smaller things, and then I started to get more confidence. And then when I was finally at that, where I'm like, okay, I need to go back to work, Painting with a Twist popped up in Spring Hill. So I put in an application there, and I was like, I've never taught before in my life. Like, I do my own art, I've never taught in an audience.
Yeah.
And so the first day they opened, it was the scariest day of my life, because I was like, oh my gosh, and it was a kids class. So I was like,
Oh, this is your first experience teaching.
Teaching,
Okay.
yes.
How old were you then?
I was 20, so let's see, that was 10, 24. I was probably closer to 30.
Okay.
My early 30s. And then I had my first class with a bunch of kids, and I was just, I wanted to throw up. I was so nervous.
Yeah.
And it went amazing, and I just got lost in it. Like,
Yeah.
I got lost in teaching, and it just felt so natural for me. And the fear was gone after like the class, when all these kids were just so happy to have these paintings done, and they were proud and excited, and that fueled me. That was all it took for me.
Yeah.
And like since then, it was just my passion. I'm like, I want to just teach. This is all I want to do.
That's awesome. I love that. And so I just had this thought that I want to share, because like, I have this theory on nerves, right? And it's energy, right? But my theory is that if you're not nervous, you don't care.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the fact that you were super nervous meant you really cared, like you really wanted to do right by those kids.
Yes.
You really wanted to do a good job.
Yes.
You know, and that says a lot. And I'm sure that's that energy you tapped into, which propelled you to doing what you're doing now.
Yes.
Right?
It really has. And I mean, for the last 10 years of my life teaching, like it just now comes so naturally. Like I get like butterflies with certain things, but like, I mean, as far as, you know, teaching in general, like it's just comes naturally now. And I love that.
Do you think that it kind of took you going into kind of a not so great space for a while to really bring clarity as to what you wanted to do and get serious with the art?
It did. And I think when you're laid up for months on end and like you just have so much time to think, and I knew in my head, I was like, you know, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but I knew in my head that I didn't want to be stuck there. I didn't want to be stuck in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I didn't want my family to have to worry about taking care of me because I screwed up. And so it did. And I promised myself and I promised my dad. My dad always tells me, I actually have it tattooed across my shoulders. Through my sobriety, he always said, never again, never again. And we, you know, I never took it literal. I was always just like, you know, I get it. And he said it so many times to me that it's stuck, and it's something that I live by. It's a mantra I live by now. It's tattooed on my back because it's a constant reminder of you're stronger than this. You can get through this. And without my family during that time, I probably wouldn't be here today. So it did. It took a lot for me emotionally, mentally, physically. I was just defeated. And so when I was able to finally take baby steps to getting to where I am today, it's just fuel at this point. Like it's just fuel. Yeah. I always say fuel and stubbornness, because when someone tells me you can't do it, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it 1,000 times better.
Yeah, you know, I can relate in kind of different contexts because Live Struggle Legacy stemmed from my close friend. I did prison time. Yeah. That was my dark place, and that was my never again moment. Yeah. Right? And I wouldn't have made it through that had it not been for my family. And you know, Live Struggle was the name of the show that we used to do hip hop shows. We used to do it in prison. We'd have a band. The guy played bass, guy played drums, another guy played guitar, and my friend Tim, also known as Big Baby, he would put the shows together and he would call it Live Struggle. Well, unfortunately, Big Baby never made it home. Oh. He died in prison. He didn't get like murdered or anything like that. People think he died from medical negligence. He had an aneurysm. He didn't get treatment, and it ruptured, and he died. But that for me, seeing my friend Tim, rest in peace, and countless other people die. You know what I mean? In there, and then of course, it's my choice to be in there. You know what I mean? Like I made choices out here that put me in there, but it's like I had that time to sit down and think and get serious about what I want to do and my passions. And of course, you know, everybody's saying, you know, you can't go out and be like, you know, at the time 30. I got out when I was 31. I went in when I was like 22. Wow. Right? So you know, for people to say what I need to be doing with my life, you know, or you need to, you know, get a job, have a trade. Well, I did. That's why I became a coach, but it was always a means to an end. But the whole point is, you know, I took that time. I took that adversity, right? And I transmuted that into this. Yes. You know what I mean? Just like you took your adversity and you transmuted that into traveling art parties. Yes. Right?
Absolutely.
So
I do. I drive this business drives me every day. Every day. Like watching it grow from what it was to what it is now has just been overwhelmingly amazing. But at the same time, it's like, you know, I love that I'm able to do this with, like, you know, one person that I love who, you know, gets to be my partner in crime with this. I get to meet wonderful people. I get to help people. You know, we do everything from helping kids at Christmas time. I always do free classes for kids at Christmas, you know, for families that are struggling. We give back to the vets. We give back to, you know, as many communities as possible, LGBTQ. I mean, I try to give back because people have given so much to me as far as, you know, help in my life, that if I'm able to like help somebody else, especially through art, it's just such a blessing for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me how you came up with the concept of the traveling art parties.
So originally, Evie, a good friend of mine, we both worked at Painting with a Twist together. When they closed down, she actually said, hey, I want to start doing like our own paint and sip. She's like, would you want to come in with me for this? And I was like, yes, let's do it. So Evie, and I love Evie to pieces, Evie was getting ready to retire when her and me went in for traveling art parties. And she's like, well, I'm going to get a building. And I was like, awesome. So we had a home front, and we did that until COVID hit. When COVID hit, it was detrimental. We had to shut down everything. Of course, everything was shut down at the time. And, you know, she was getting to a point where she's like, you know what, I'm ready to retire. And I was like, understandable. And she's like, do you want to take over the storefront? And I was like, you know what, we do more traveling because nobody wanted to go anywhere due to COVID. And I said, so no, the storefront, we don't need the storefront anymore. And then when she retired, you know, I took over, and then we've added so much over the years to traveling art parties. Like, we started with just canvas art, and now we do everything from canvases to pottery. We do a very interesting class that actually gauges towards the older demographic, and I didn't think would, was paint your own ceramic bongs.
That's awesome.
Yes, and you'd be surprised the amount of 60 and 70-year-olds
I was just going to say, these are older people painting.
Yeah. There was like no young people in that class. They all showed up, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was
That's
like,
awesome.
I was like, well, I really misconstrued the wrong
Like
demographic.
the Willie Nelson crowd.
Yes. And you know, they're such a trip. They had such a blast. But like, we do everything like paint your pets, which is such a personal class for people because, you know, a lot of times they're painting a pet that has been, you know, long past and things like that. So it's a good memorial. Yeah. Again, the Bob Ross classes, we do oil landscapes, we do terrariums, you know, you name it. Like, we've probably done every craft under the sun on top of painting. But our biggest thing is that we take a lot of pride that we teach you actual techniques, something that you can take home and be proud of and that you learn and that you retain. So I have customers that constantly come back because they're retaining what they're learning and they want to keep improving. So, you know, that's what I like to say separates me from the other paint and sip companies that are out there, is that we want to sit down and show you these techniques and these different ways of painting. That way you're engaged and it's not just I'm going to hang it on my wall and, you know, forget about it.
Yeah.
Because we have people who are just like, you know, I don't generally paint. You know, I was dragged out here with a friend, and then by the end of the class, we're like, oh my God, I want to do this again.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's what we enjoy seeing, and that's what drives us with TAP. So
I know what you're doing is completely original, but is that kind of like what the Bob Ross motto is kind of all about? Is like empowering people?
It is. So like between that, because we teach everything from acrylics and oils. So Bob Ross technique is actually done in oil paints.
Okay.
He became certified as a level 4, and then I became certified as a level 1. And the
by he, you mean your partner Blake? Shout out Blake.
Yep.
Oh, I mean
Grant. Yep, no,
Sorry,
you're good.
Grant, yeah, because we're
Grant Wells, the
Grant.
CRI instructor.
Yes.
He is and it's funny too because when Grant teaches, he's 6'9", so when he walks into a class, you know, teaching Bob Ross classes, people are like, but he's like the most soft-spoken human being, so he sounds like Bob when he teaches. Whereas me, I'm very spastic and off the wall, and you just get a lot of high energy from me. But the Bob Ross classes are super popular because it's such a household name. Yeah. So, you know, when you tell people, like, when people tell us, like, I'm not going to be able to paint like Bob Ross, and I said, you wait and come to a class and try it. And when they do, and they're like, wow, I can't believe I made this. It's just, you know, they leave so impressed with themselves. It boosts that confidence in them. That's all I ever want to see. People that's all I ever want to see. And they love the puns and all that other fun Bob Ross stuff that comes with it.
Give us a couple.
We do, like, you know, happy little trees, or, you know, we're going to put a happy little bush here. Or if you have a happy little accident, you know, I mean, it's...
Exactly.
That's the so, like, you know, no mistakes, happy little accidents.
Happy little accident,
so both me and Grant have Bob Ross tattoos. He actually has Bob Ross's fan brush on his forearm.
I love
and it says happy little accidents.
Yes.
And then I have Bob Ross on my bicep here.
Oh, yeah, that's dope. And the moon. I love that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're definitely big Bob Ross.
I love that.
Yeah. And we even, you know, we say his mantras, like we try to explain to people that, you know, anybody can do this. It doesn't matter if you've never touched a paintbrush in your life, or you're a seasoned artist. We take them all, and we teach you the tips and techniques to get you to, a point that you're happy with. So I love it. I can't complain.
No, that's great. That's great. Have you ever seen the Samuel L. Jackson Bob Ross meme?
Oh,
Where he's like, all those problems you're complaining about, and it's Bob Ross, but it's Samuel L. Jackson's face, and he's like, the birds that make the motherfucking birds.
Yes, yes. I love every Bob Ross meme that like people come out with. Every time I scroll, I'm like, I gotta save that one. I'm saving that one.
But it shows you the impact. I mean, everybody loves Bob Ross. Like everybody loves Bob Ross.
He's such a staple. Like people, when you say he's like that wholesome, just everybody loved Bob Ross.
Oh, absolutely.
Like that man could do no wrong. He was a saint.
Yes, yes.
I've been looking for a partner that feels like the right fit for this show. A brand that shares the same commitment to quality, comfort, and a better lifestyle. After a lot of research, I found exactly that in Cozy Earth. They create luxury bedding and pajamas made from 100% bamboo, naturally breathable, incredibly soft, and designed to keep you cool and comfortable all night long. It's the kind of product that elevates everyday life, which is exactly the type of brand I want to bring to this community. Cozy Earth also stands behind their products with a 10-year warranty on their premium bamboo bedding, plus free shipping on orders over $50. If you've been looking to upgrade your sleep and align with a brand that fits the values of this show, visit CozyEarth.com and use the code LSL for 40% off your order. That's CozyEarth.com, code LSL for 40% off.
So, it definitely lost a legend when he, passed. I
When
still
did he
watch
pass?
him. 95.
Wow, I didn't realize that he passed that long ago.
Yeah.
Made me feel really old. Because I grew, I remember being, you know what I mean? Like, I remember as a kid
PBS.
being like mesmerized.
Yes.
Like, and what kid sits there and happy little accidents, and it's like.
That's what I'm saying. And I didn't know either a fact with him that, Bob Ross he passed away from cancer.
Oh.
And towards the end of his career, he actually Grant told me, Bob was wearing a wig towards the last few.
Shit.
Yeah. So like, I was so devastated when I was told that. I'm like, no. Yeah. And he still did what he loved to the end, and that's the biggest thing. And he brought so much joy to people's lives. So.
And what an incredible way to honor him.
Absolutely.
You and Grant both. It's pretty amazing what y'all are doing, and just like. You're carrying the baton.
Absolutely, yes.
Empowering other people through art.
I know.
I love that.
And when people are like, "What's an actual certified Bob Ross instructor?" Like, you have to actually carry the license to teach it. So, like, when people are like, "That's a thing," I'm like, "Yeah. You go down and train, and they teach you. The guy who teaches you sounds like Bob Ross. It's wild."
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's wild. And then the whole place smells like paint thinner, and you're just like burnt out by the. Yeah. I was in there for a week, and I was like, "Oh my god." I gotta step outside. Wow.
Yeah.
We use odorless paint thinner in our classes, but like no matter how ventilated it is, that paint thinner that they use was like jet fuel. I was like, oh my god.
Where was the training?
New Smyrna Beach.
Okay.
Florida. Yeah.
In the class, do you bang the brush?
Beat the devil out of the brush. Yep. Oh yeah.
Yes.
We beat the devil out of the brush in classes too. Oh yeah.
Okay,
The
yes.
beer bucket. Yep. Oh yeah. Yep. It's definitely, every time we have a class, somebody says at least once, are we going to beat the devil out of our brushes? Like, at least once. So,
I love that.
yeah,
That's awesome.
There's so much fun, though, like I said, along with all our other classes. Like, last night, I just taught mandalas on records, old, unusable records.
Oh, painting mandala. That's right up Angel's Alley right there.
Yeah, hold on. If you don't mind, I'll show you real quick. Yeah, we had, I gave them instruction as far as how to start mandalas, and I was there every step of the way for them, but we had some talented.
Can we pass that to Angel?
Yeah.
That's probably too small for y'all to see, but I'm going to pass that to Angel real quick.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
That's dope.
It's like one of the most, people think I'm a psychopath because I'm like, I enjoy doing those, and they're like.
And look how happy these ladies are.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
Oh,
that
yeah.
you're literally making the world a better place through art.
We're trying.
And empowering people.
We're trying, because like I said, the both of us, we had kind of rough past, so it was, we get so much enjoyment and happiness out of doing what we do for people. And again, like the big foundation of traveling art parties is fundraising and charity. So, I mean, we've given thousands back to storm victims also last year. That was, we live in Citrus Hernando County, and they were pretty devastated by the storms last year. So, we did a completely profit-free class where I had people bringing in essential items instead of, paying for a ticket. We donated, I think, 12 or 13 plastic tote bins to Hernando Beach alone with just essentials that they needed after the storm.
Yes.
I mean, we had kids that, that were having rough times, families having rough times at Christmas because of the storms. So, I would tell parents, sign them up for the free classes we have, and I sent every individual kid notes from Santa. So Santa sent them notes and invited them to these paint events. So, it was something that just anything little that we could give back to the community. I mean, even with our veterans, we do fundraising with a lot of the VFWs. We do fundraising for a lot of their service animals. So like any profits we make, it goes back to them. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that so much, and I'm sure that the audience does as well. So thank you so much for sharing that. I have this question that I want to ask, right? And it may seem like a silly question and like an obvious question, but like what does art mean to you personally? What is art to you?
That's a big, let's see.
Because it sounds like a lot. And
it is a lot.
It sounds like more than maybe the average artist, so to speak.
Yeah, it's had such a profound impact on my life, in that I've always been around it in some way, shape, or form, and I've always been exposed to it, that I could not picture myself in not being in that type of community. It's been my therapy. It's been, other people's therapy. I met him through art. Like, I'm I'm now with him because of art. I've met wonderful people through art. The communities that I've grown with through art, it just has kicked open so many doors for me. And the fact that I get to do what I love, and that, regardless of the money or not, it's just something that I will consistently do the rest of my life. It's had such a huge impact on it. So
yeah, I love that. So it's too big of.
It is, because I could sit here for the next 8 hours and just be like, this is this and this. I mean, honestly, I could sit down and just sketch on a piece of paper, and that brings me joy. I'll get lost in it for hours.
So art is life.
It is.
Yeah.
It is literally life. I mean, on top of being a business owner of an art business, I'm constantly in this of working on social media, art, putting up ticket, more art. So the art is always in there. It's always there. And I chose to run this business because I enjoy teaching the art also. Being able to create it is just a bonus for me too.
Yeah.
But, even personal art, when I do commission work, I do, pieces that I just want to do and have fun with. And I'm a big horror fan, very 80s, 90s horror
I
flicks.
love some of the Halloween stuff you've been posting.
Yes.
And so now we're in season.
Yes.
And I believe I saw some skateboards.
Yeah.
You were painting. Those were dope.
Thank you. Those are been really popular. And so we are actually doing, what is the name of that one? Spooky Soiree in Orlando in October.
Awesome.
So it's this gigantic market that they do in the Milk District of Orlando. So I've been just trying to create some more cool horror pieces for that. But again, I genuinely just enjoy that genre. So that's my fun time to do.
No, that's awesome. And I love, I'm not really into scary movies so much, but I love the characters. Right?
Yeah.
And my son, he'll be 7 later this month, but he's not allowed to watch any of that stuff. But he knows who all the characters are. Mm-hmm. So we celebrate the characters without the scary stuff.
The scary stuff. No, completely. There are people who will walk by my booth sometimes, and I'll get some odd looks, and they're like, it's really well done. It just scares the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's fine. I appreciate it. I'm glad you at least like it.
It's fun though, right? It's
It is. And then you have heart, because I do a lot of oddities markets too. So like, that's right up all their alley.
So tell me about what an oddities market is.
So I was introduced to oddities markets a couple of years back. There's a brewery in Brooksville, Florida, that the owner actually said, you know, would you want to start an oddities market with me? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. So oddities consist of, you know, anything from bone art to, you know, what they call wet specimens, which is, you know, jarred creatures.
Like
yes.
in the formaldehyde or whatever. Yeah.
Yep. You know, I have some very talented friends who make like these beautiful like rosaries that have like bones on them, and you know, spooky art. Just
so that's what an oddity is. Okay, I've heard that. But,
taxidermy stuff like that. But I mean,
like something you'd
people.
see off a shop in like a what's his name? Rob Zombie movie. Yeah.
I mean, the coolest people though I've ever met in my life. I mean, every oddities market I've ever been to, like they're just the chillest people.
Yeah,
it's
that's
so much
to
fun.
me that's such an interesting thing, because you see these like scary stuff, and then you think the person's gonna be like the scary, like creepy person,
no.
and these are like people that are like, they seem like they're all this love and light, and
They
you know,
are.
and then that's just an interesting.
They really are. I definitely enjoy doing and in seeing people at the oddities market. They're just very cool people. So
that's super cool.
Yeah.
So you're it's definitely art circumvents your life in all different ways.
it does.
Well, and for me, the art is just. I mean, art is life. I mean, I'm an artist, but I'm not a painter. I write, and I produce, and you know, I podcast. And for me, this is art, and I bring it on all kinds of artists. You know, visual artists, clothing designers, graphic designers, singers. You know, I mean, even entrepreneurism can be a form of
Absolutely.
an art, right?
Absolutely.
When you're doing something unique and you know, making it your own.
Absolutely.
And sharing it with the world, right?
Yeah, because that's, I think, the toughest challenge for people is trying to, you know, especially with us where paint and sips are a big thing now. So there's quite a few of them, and you know, I'm friends with a good chunk of the other women who do what we do, and we always, each and every one of us are very individual in what we do and how we teach, how our style is, and you know, we all try to set ourselves apart a bit. And it's not a matter of competition; it's just a matter of, you know, this is what we're going to be unique in.
You're inspiring each other.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, you know, I hold a lot of respect for other artists who do what I do, because again, I know it's not easy. It's a hustle bustle. It's, you know, it's a lot of work that people don't see behind the scenes that happens. It's I tell people when I quit my day job, to work 24/7. So
yeah,
and I love every second of it.
That's the thing. When you're doing what you absolutely love, it's not work. You can live and breathe it. You do it around the clock.
Yes.
I mean, and congrats. I'm super happy for you that you found that place.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. That's a dream come true right there.
It really is. It took Grant literally telling me, because I was working full time, juggling the business also. I said, "Oh, I'll quit when I'm ready. I'll quit when like we're busy enough." And we were busy enough, and I was still like holding on to like this security blanket, and he's like, "You need to quit your day job.
Jump out there." Yeah.
And I was so scared, and he's like, "We'll be fine."
But that's when the magic happens.
Exactly.
Uncomfortable.
I was so scared when I put in my notice. I was like, okay. And my bosses were so cool about it. They're like, you know, we know what you do, and we wish you the best, and you know, we want to see you excel. So like without him, I'd probably be still juggling 8,000 things, but now I get to put all my time and energy into this business.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't able to. I appreciate that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So I know it sounds like you've like far surpassed your early goals. Are there any goals that you have that maybe you're reaching for and that are maybe on the horizon?
I would love to be able to assist other maybe newer business owners as far as, you know, paint and sips go, you know, helping them out. Because I always try to help out my other friends who have small businesses, you know, like mine, for instance, where it took us so long to build up to where we were, and to be able to help out my fellow small businesses, even people who do stuff like me, you know, whether it's sharing on social media or just giving them a shout out or recommending them. And that comes back.
Absolutely.
So, to small business owners, it's like, keep pushing, but, also keep that circle with you because they'll help you out. And I try to, again, do that for fellow business owners, small ones.
I read this quote once, and it's like so spot on, but it talks about how, good teachers, they have a lot of students, right?
Yeah.
But great teachers become bridges for their students to cross over and
Yes.
become teachers themselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And then next thing you know, like Bob Ross, and then you're carrying the torch. You're turning.
The honor of knowing the man's technique is alone was like enough for me. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm painting like Bob Ross. This is incredible. And it does. It changes you as a person where you're like, I want people to feel the same joy that I feel. And that's exactly what it is that I want people, even my friends or, my customers, it's like, whatever you do, have joy in it because life is way too short.
So when you reached out, you sent me your bio and you mentioned something about, the feeling of, teaching, coaching, mentoring, however you want to, whatever you want to call it, but essentially, a person that thinks that they can't draw or they can't paint, and then the next thing you know, you see, like the picture of the ladies you just showed me. I mean, I don't know if that's their story, but you could see the joy on their faces.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about that and how that kind of drives
Absolutely.
you.
So, most people who walk in, the very first question I ask people when they come in, I'm like, has anybody here ever painted or drawn? And, a lot of times we'll get quite a few customers that'll lift their hand and be like, I've never touched a paintbrush in my life. And then my second question is always, who is type A in here? And then, we'll have a couple of the people raise their hands and I'm like, let that go. Because type A's, I'm also a type A. We are perfectionists. We want things to be perfect, in line, order. And I'm like, this is a paint class. We're going to enjoy the process. We're going to make sure you're happy. We're going to make sure you're learning something. So a lot of people, when they go into especially guided paint classes, they're afraid to ask for help. And with us, it's very ask us. Please ask us. Because I don't want you to feel lost in the middle of what you're doing. I want to be able to explain to you, how to do this part. So with students in general, I can't even call them guests, like with students in general who want to learn a technique or something of that nature where they're like, hey, how do I physically do this? I will physically walk up to them with my example and I will show them how to do a brush stroke, or I'll show them how to do a line, or I'll show them how to draw this. And we do that because, again, we want them to feel a sense of, I got this and I'm going to go home happy with it. Because we don't ever want to see a customer go home and just be like, oh my God, I hate this. Or just walk out just being like, it's okay. I want them to have that feeling, which is, I can't believe I painted this. Like, how great this came out. Or, oh my gosh, I'm hanging this up as soon as I get home. Like, that's the expression we want. Like, I tell students, like, what can we do to help you to be happy with this?
Yeah.
And if they tell me like, oh, well, I don't like the color of this, we can change it. Oh, I don't like the line here, we can paint over it. So we ask them and we make them feel comfortable to be able to ask us. It's not a stingy kind of wham bam, you're in, you're out, we're done painting. We are, our classes go anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, just depending on what we're doing that day. So we don't ever rush a student. Yeah, we don't ever rush anyone.
Yeah.
We want people to enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
So what's your advice for anyone out there who thinks that they can't draw or paint?
Oh, you can do it. Everybody's got it in them. Everybody's got it in them. It's like anything else. It's having the right tools, the right instruction, the will to want to do it. That's a big one. That's a big one because, you definitely want to have to do it. But besides that, it's practice.
Yeah.
Drawing is practice. It's like anything, repetition.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. The mandalas I've done for so many years that you can give me anything and I'll just start doodling. And then that's all it started as, was doodles. Yeah. So, as I
Flash
grew,
art, right?
Exactly, yeah. As I grew as an artist, like I incorporated all these different techniques that I've learned over the years and I've made it my own. So even when I do like Bob Ross themed things, like I'll do some cool spooky ones at the holidays that are, fall themed Bob Rosses, or, we'll do cool zombie portraits. We do, just anything that kind of sets me apart, but still kind of having those old masters techniques to help me guide the way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm willing to always learn. That's my biggest thing. Yeah.
So, okay, I know you got a lot of things going on. Now, I want to remind, because I'm going to have you promote yourself, your business,
Absolutely.
anything that you have going on, any calls to action that you want to make for our audience.
Absolutely.
But before I do, I just want you to know that this isn't going to be released for a little while.
That's okay.
So just keep in mind.
Date-wise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're good,
So I
no
just want
worries.
to give you that disclosure. But,
Yeah.
but the audience is yours. Tell them about where they can find you, what kind of services you offer, whether it be commissions, classes, how somebody could call you and say, "Oh, I want a traveling art party," right? So tell them.
All right, perfect. So again, you guys can reach me at our business line, which is 603-560-5003. I know a lot of folks don't like calling. You are more than welcome to text me. That's okay too. I always respond to that. We do have a website. It is travelingartparties.com. We also have a Facebook and Instagram page. Both are going to be Traveling Art Parties. You can reach us also through Messenger on both. When you do go to our website, there is in a little box at the bottom right. You can put an inquiry in there. I get the email, so I'm able to respond back to you. If you'd like to book a party, I would give you the rundown of everything that we do. We teach anywhere from 7 to 100 people. So if you're looking for a larger venue or, a medium or even just a holiday party, we travel we've gone as far as Orlando. So we do the whole Tampa Bay area. We will go out to Orlando. We actually have, come Christmas time, really big event. We got in with the World Equestrian Center in Ocala.
Ah, that's dope.
Yes. So that is going to be in December. That is December. I will check the date on it. You can find that class on our website, travelingartparties.com. That is actually going to be on the night that they light up all their Christmas lights. So you're going to be coming to a class there where you're going to paint a really beautiful horse. You're going to have food, drinks, entertainment. We're going to have an art auction. And then when you guys have done the class, you can walk the grounds and look at the Christmas lights. I also curate markets, oddity markets. So if you guys are ever in the area of Hernando Beach, we do them there also. Besides that, I think that's the best way to reach me. So
Awesome.
Website or phone, that's either one.
Awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Any closing remarks for the audience?
You guys can paint even if you think you can't. I promise you, we can make painters out of you.
I love that.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Well, Autumn, thank you so
Thank
much for coming on the
you.
show.
I appreciate
It's been a
it.
pleasure. This is a really great episode.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's Live Struggle Legacy. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification button. If you have questions for Autumn, drop them in the comments, start a conversation. If you're listening on a streaming platform, please hit that follow button, download, rate us. And if you're looking to promote your business, we're looking for sponsors. Holler at me. Plus, we have merch on deck. Make sure you go to the livestrugglelegacy.com. Livestrugglelegacy.com. We got merch on deck. Holler at me. It's Live Struggle Legacy. We building pyramids.
I don't know about y'all, but when I'm looking for a new product or service, I go to my friends first. That's exactly what you get with Two Friends Home Inspection, where your home is their priority. Whether you're buying, selling, or just want to know the true condition of your home, B and Lee at Two Friends Home Inspections have you covered. They're a two-person team, which means greater accuracy, attention to detail, and top-notch service every single time. You'll get prompt, friendly support and clear, easy-to-understand reports that help you make confident decisions about your home. They proudly serve Pinellas and surrounding counties, and you can reach them directly at twofriendshomeinspections.com. That's twofriendshomeinspections.com. Tell them the Live Struggle Legacy podcast sent you.
Live Struggle Legacy. It's a whole movement.